This is a WNEM TV5 special presentation. It's the First Warn 5 Weather Roadshow from Dow Diamond with Chief Meteorologist Brian Bachman and meteorologist Daphne DeLorean, Chris Eastlick, and Claire Cameron. Now your host, Brian Bachman.
Welcome to the First Warn 5 Weather Roadshow here at beautiful Dow Diamond in Midland. Over the next half hour, we're going to take you behind the scenes of the First Warn 5 Weather Center, show you how we use weather models to bring you Mid-Michigan's most accurate forecast, and a whole lot more. To start things out, we talk weather with some folks here at Dow Diamond before the game.
All right, welcome everyone. Thanks for coming out to the Dow Diamond Weather Roadshow. The first thing you really have to teach yourself when you're on air, it's kind of a mental trick. You almost have to teach yourself to do something by watching yourself do it. It's kind of like in a third person way. You're on a screen and all you have is that wall behind you, but on these monitors that are around, we can see ourselves with the maps behind us. So it's kind of like, it's like a weird mental training.
I didn't know it was that entailed. I didn't know it was that technical. So I'm very, very surprised. The part I'm very surprised about is when they're pointing to the screen in the background and nothing is there. That's surprising. I didn't think that.
I learned that it can be raining and like in Midland it can be raining here, but it couldn't be raining at our house like in the same spot.
Well, it certainly was a great group of people we talked to, and we'll bring you more of that later on in the show. For now, though, we want to take you behind the scenes of the First Warn 5 Weather Center and show you exactly what goes into preparing a forecast for air.
People think that when we just go to work, we just show up and go on the air. No, it actually takes a lot of time. You look at models, we kind of put all the forecasts together. So all those numbers that you guys see on the air is what we actually put together. It's not just copy and paste. So there's a lot that does go into it, especially if there's severe weather going on. We tend to go in a lot earlier just to make sure everything's ready and on time to get everything on the air. And usually the morning is a lot more rushed than the evening shows. So yeah, I have a package here, kind of runs through what I do, what I look at, and you can play it now. All right.
Whether I'm forecasting severe weather or winter storms, computer-generated model runs are a vital piece to the forecasting process. A forecast model is a set of equations initialized, then solved throughout time. I compare multiple models to come up with what I think is the most probable, which leads to my end result, and that's the forecast.
So for example, today we have an area of low pressure that's swinging this cold front through. That's going to be the reason for the showers and storms throughout today.
We don't tell you this on the air, but our First Warn 5 hour-by-hour forecast is an actual example of a mathematical generated model of our atmosphere. It's not just guesswork. We take multiple variables into account, such as wind, temperature, and sky cover to help us predict and plan your day from wake up to your commute home. After piecing my forecast together, I input my data into relatable graphics that help tell my weather story for live television. So once I put my forecast together, everything is in the computer, graphics are ready to go. This is where I stand to give you the forecast. And when I'm looking straight at the camera, I'm actually looking at myself, and that's how I can see where I'm pointing to, because this is only a green screen. Obviously there's no numbers or sky tracker on here. So when I'm looking to the right, I'm actually looking at myself and pointing to the number by looking at my finger and where that's pointing to on the map. And then again, when I look straight towards you, I look at myself. When I look towards the left, we have side monitors on all angles so we can see where we're pointing to give you the forecast. In scenarios when the potential for severe weather exists, the First Warn 5 weather team becomes very closely linked with the meteorologists at the Storm Prediction Center as well as the National Weather Service. We rely on them to issue watches or warnings as they rely on us to relay the information to the public in a very timely manner.
Well, finding ways to be as accurate as possible means partnering up with as many people and organizations as we can. The WeatherBug Network and local schools have been instrumental in adding to our team of data collection stations. Meteorologist Claire Cameron had the chance to visit our newest weather station and partner in Au Gres.
I actually got to go to Au Gres Sims, their school district. I think I went on Monday, and I got a tour of their new WeatherBug system. They just got it in, and we love the WeatherBug. It's just so invaluable to us. We get to see, what it's like elsewhere, because we're stuck in Saginaw at the station sometimes. We can't always be everywhere, but those help us give you a more accurate forecast. And so I had the chance to go there, and they actually just got a lightning detector in, And I think it detects within a 10-mile radius when lightning strikes, and they get all the data, recorded data from that lightning strike, and they just get to see kind of like a contemplation of all the lightning that they get in the area, and that's really cool, but they didn't have it set up yet. But we do want to show you the little package we put together, so enjoy.
You may have seen us use them during the forecast, giving you live views of the area from Flint, Owasso, Grand Blanc, and the list keeps growing. Here at the station, we use WeatherBug not only to add something to the forecast, but also to help us be more accurate. We can't be everywhere at once, but with WeatherBug, we have access to a live look at other locations across our wide viewing area, and we even have access to stations across the country. For the schools in the program, it means hands-on education for students.
Our ability to provide the kids with another realm of place-based education. Being able to have the kids have hands-on learning experiences and to have it relevant to their daily lives here in the community.
15 different standards that have to do with weather and climate. With the weather station though, there's a software and curriculum that Earth Networks is going to help us with. It's called Achieve for the educators. And that's going to bring in geography, technology, math, science, and cover cross-curriculum.
You've heard the saying, if you don't like the weather, well, wait 5 minutes and it will change. Covering mid-Michigan, this is often the case. Conditions vary depending on where you are. It may be raining at the Perry Center in Grand Blanc, but at the same time, it'll be nice and sunny in Au Gres. These stations help us paint a more complete forecast and also help us give you more accurate information depending on where you are. The Au Gres Sims School District looks at this investment by the Saginaw Chippewa tribe as a tool for the whole community.
Not only provide accurate local data, but provide it to a regional aspect, especially with our maritime flavor that we have here, the community bases, farming and agriculture, and we're hoping to be able to provide this as another educational source right here from a local standpoint for our community.
Another benefit of the WeatherBug system is the data that it brings in. Not only does WeatherBug host past weather data, it also brings in real-time data, current temperatures, what it feels like outside, either the wind chill or dew points, precipitation and wind gauge, plus more. It's another tool in our arsenal that we use when we are putting together the forecast. WeatherBug has stations in schools across the globe, and now Au Gres is added to that list.
Schools like Au Gres Sims are a great help when it comes to seeing the whole picture of our viewing area. And we also rely on the TV5 weather spotters. They're a group of folks from all over mid-Michigan who we trust to keep us up to date in their area. If you think you'd like to be a weather spotter, here's how. With the summer season drawing to a close, we prepare to turn our attention from the heat and humidity and thunderstorms to those inevitable larger temperature swings and the first frost. But before we fully close the book on summer of 2015, let's take a quick look back on the severe weather season that was. Pinning down the when, where, and what presented its usual challenges when potential severe weather was in the offing. While not a record season by any stretch of the imagination, summer 2015 was not without its fair share of active weather. It was a season that wasted no time getting off to a running start on the first full day of summer on June 22nd. Forecasts had been pointing to the likelihood of an active afternoon for several days by that point, and things were primed and ready for what would easily be the most active day of the summer. Following an initial wave of rain and thunderstorms early in the afternoon of June 22nd, the atmosphere remained primed for an additional outbreak of supercell thunderstorms later that evening. By roughly 9 p.m., numerous thunderstorms had redeveloped and were becoming dangerous quickly. These would go on to spawn 2 tornadoes in the mid-Michigan area. Now, the first was an EF2 tornado that touched down in Birch Run and carved an 11.4-mile path all the way to the town of Millington. Peak winds with this particular tornado were estimated to be around 115 miles per hour, and the damage path was 250 yards wide, causing damage to several RVs in Birch Run and several houses in the Millington area. Now, the other tornado tore a 20-mile path through northern Sanilac County from Decker to Deckerville, causing extensive damage to a dairy farm, among others. Rated as an EF1, the tornado's peak winds were estimated to be around 95 miles per hour, but still, for mid-Michigan, 20 miles, That's a rather long trek, somewhat unusual in this part of the country. Another notable tornado occurred on the evening of August 2nd in the town of Owendale. Several buildings were damaged, but no injuries were reported. And there were several other days that featured severe weather, including some bouts of large hail, damaging winds, and of course, torrential rains. We'll remain on the lookout for the chances for more active weather in the coming weeks, but of course, that chance will tend to diminish as the season changes. Soon the temperatures will start to cool down, and places like this fire pit here at the ballpark will start to gather bigger and bigger crowds. But heading into the fall season can also mean an increase in the wildfire danger. Meteorologist Chris Eastlick explains.
When it comes to fire danger, it's been a pretty mellow summer. We've gotten enough rain to keep the fire danger level in the low to moderate range most of the year.
Fall is definitely the second part of our fire season. You start seeing the leaves starting to die off and they start falling to the ground. The fine fuel, the fine fuels, the grasses and stuff all start to die off. Usually that's our second fire season is what we call here in Michigan.
The DNR considers the fall their second most dangerous time of the year for fire danger. If August and September are dry, and if the autumn winds kick up, that can mean trouble in the form of an elevated fire risk. And with most wildfires starting from people not being careful burning, there are a few tips to keep in mind.
Well, when I get a call to the field office and they ask about burn conditions, I'll tell them that, either permits are on today or they're off. But I tell them, if they're going to be out burning, some of the tools per se that you should have on hand is, some water, a rake or a shovel. Clear the area around where you're going to be burning 15, 20, 30 feet back, rake the dead leaves back. Get all that so that if a spark does come out and lands into that, it just doesn't take off from right there.
So how does weather play a role in how the DNR controls wildfires? They use long-range computer models just like us to see how they should plan for fire season.
I was looking at the National Weather Service's forecast for this coming spring and through the winter, and they're talking about a heavy El Nino impact on the state of Michigan this year, where we're going to see above normal temperatures and below normal precipitation. So that will have an impact this coming spring for us. If we don't have the snow load to help, put the moisture in the ground, then that means we're going to be drier into the spring season, and the probability of fires are going to be a little bit higher.
Planning ahead goes a long way in keeping mid-Michigan safe. And always remember what Smokey the Bear says. Only you can prevent wildfires.
Coming up on the First Warn 5 Weather Road Show, we'll take a look at seasonal allergies and how the changing weather can affect your health. Allergy sufferers, you know this time of year all too well. When the seasons change, that can mean problems. Meteorologist Chris Eastlick shows us how the weather can affect which allergens are at their worst.
Spring may be the time of year that affects allergy sufferers the most, but autumn is a close second.
Fall allergies contain the weed group, so like the ragweed, the tumbleweed. That happen around mid-August, so around this time, and they happen until about the first couple thaws when it gets colder.
Dr. Ryan Stevenson works with allergy patients every day. He says these symptoms can really pile up on those who suffer this time of year.
The big one is congestion. The nose will run profusely. You get a lot of nasal itching, some itching of the ears can happen to the eyes, a lot of times red watery eyes, a lot of sneezing, you see that. And then it can get bad enough where it affects your sleep, and that's when you really need to start getting treatment.
So what types of treatments are out there?
Just a lot of good over-the-counters that you should really try before coming to the doctor. I mean, going to the doctor is always appropriate, but some of the over-the-counters, like the antihistamines, they have the longer-acting ones, Claritin, Allegra, Zyrtec. Non-sedating, long-acting is a good start. A lot of times that's not enough for some of the congestion of the nose. The first-line treatment for those would be more of the nasal steroids, and they have those over-the-counter as well. They work very well if used appropriately.
Dr. Stevenson also adds getting in front of allergies when you know they're coming can really help. He recommends starting treatment a week or so before the season starts, but if you're finding you're losing sleep or if it's affecting your work or school, you should see a doctor.
It affects sleep. A lot of times kids, they don't know that there's things we can do. They'll put up with a lot of symptoms. If they get bad enough where they affect sleep, school performance, athletic performance can go down. It also can predispose to different infections like sinus infections, ear infections. So it's important if it's bad enough to get treated or see a doc.
For the First Warn 5 Weather Roadshow, I'm Chris Eastlick.
Still to come, more of our Weather Roadshow from Dow Diamond and the anatomy of fall. We'll be right back. Welcome back. One of the best parts of our job as meteorologists is getting a chance to get out and meet folks like you, the Mid-Michigan public, getting a chance to educate them on the weather and exactly how it works. Here's a little bit more of our chat we had earlier with some of the folks here at Dow Diamond.
When you guys do the quick weathers between the CBS News in the morning, when the music starts fading away, when you guys are walking away when you're walking away, when do you know when to walk away?
He's asking, like, how do we know when we're doing a cut-in, which is like when we have the 1 minute segment, how do we know when to stop? We have someone talking in our ear, and there's also someone in the room that's like behind the camera, and they give us little cues like 1 minute, 30 seconds, and then they'll say wrap, and they're like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and if you don't stop, then you're just cut off. So it's kind of like really strict with when you start and when you stop.
Two I guess, certifications that we kind of have now that we're pretty proud of, and it took some work to get to. A lot of times, especially if we're using severe weather graphics, you'll probably see this logo that says Storm Ready in the top right hand of the screen, and it's a partnership that we have with the Weather Service where we're more committed to getting the word out during, after, before severe weather events, making sure the public is well up to speed on how best to protect themselves, things like that. And I believe we're only the second TV station in the whole state to achieve it. So that's kind of, we just kind of saw it as it's something we really wanted to go for. We've always been fortunate enough to be the weather leader in the market, and we immensely appreciate the fact that everybody turns to us for that. And to Chris's point too, mentioning about how spotters are a big part of severe weather coverage, the fact of the matter is you folks are all of our eyes out there in the field. That's why something as simple as taking a picture of something you see and sending it to our Facebook page. We can look at that, and then if it's something, we can confirm it with the Weather Service, see what they think. So it's all kind of a big concerted effort, and that combined with our weather rate certification, where it's actually a scientific firm. They go through and they rate the accuracy of forecasts. We were just fortunate enough to get most accurate in Mid-Michigan.
Before we wrap up this First Warn 5 weather special, meteorologist Claire Cameron shows us the anatomy of the fall season.
Red, yellow, orange, purple, and brown. All the colors of fall that we love. Michigan is lucky to be one of the best states to view the fall foliage around the U.S., and here are the pictures to prove it. While certainly beautiful to look at, what exactly is the science behind the change? During fall, the air is crisp and the temperatures begin to drop. The days become shorter and less direct sunlight hits the earth. These are all signals for foliage to prepare themselves for winter. During winter, trees drop their leaves that snow or ice would kill anyway. They, in a sense, hibernate. Once the tree recognizes the signs of fall, they shut down production of chlorophyll, which is the reason leaves are green and also helps trees change sunlight into energy and food. During fall, trees direct their nutrients and energy to the branches, and the leaves are left without chlorophyll. There are other substances in leaves that hold different colors. The truth is the stunning reds and yellows were always present in the leaves. They were just overpowered by the chlorophyll, and in its absence, the green fades and the other colors remain. Regardless of why, the fall season is stunning, and we asked you where your favorite spots to view the foliage was, and here's what you had to say. If you're excited to go view the trees but aren't sure where to go, usually beginning in late September and early October, trees in the Upper Peninsula will begin to change. Down in the Lower Peninsula, leaves begin to change mid to late October before losing their leaves in early November. Once you feel the season shift, grab a camera and head out to see some of the stunning beauty Michigan has to offer.
Well, those fall colors sure do make for a beautiful drive around mid-Michigan as we go into the next couple of months, don't they? Well, we'd like to thank the Great Lakes Loons and the folks here at Dow Diamond for hosting our First Warn 5 Weather Roadshow from such a fantastic venue. Of course, we want to thank you, the TV5 viewers, for continuing to make us your most watched station here in mid-Michigan. We're committed to keeping you updated on severe weather and winter weather in the coming months as well. Thank you for watching this First Warn 5 Weather Special.